Howdy y'all, Fuzzy Biker here, and welcome to Triumph Tuesday. And look what we've got today. An absolutely beautiful, beautiful Triumph Bonneville T100. But there's something special about this one, and it's the colors. I think it's called Meridian Blue. Can you see that in the video? I hope that stands out. And Tangerine. And then something to notice there is this just absolutely gorgeous silver line all the way around the tank. Just a phenomenal looking thing. Just absolutely beautiful. But look at this. The side covers, the fenders, front and rear, all that Meridian Blue. And I hope Triumph does more of that, because that is just a wow thing to me. I walked in today, first time I've seen this bike, and I just fell in love with it. I'm kind of a sucker for T100s anyway. I've got one, and I just love mine. So this is just a phenomenal looking machine to me. Classic styling, you know, drips. By the way, this color scheme, I think they started that in 1959 with the first Bonnevilles. So it's just a very, very good looking bike in that sense. It's got the colors, the shapes, you know, the flat seat, the pea shooter mufflers. Just look at that. Very well done. The Triumph Heart, it looks air cooled, but it's liquid cooled. Just absolutely beautiful in every way. The classic looking, you know, gauge setup. Just a wow machine. Okay, so what is it? A Triumph T100 is a 900cc single overhead cam, parallel twin with 4 valves per cylinder and 11-to-1 compression. It puts out about 64 horsepower and 59 foot-pounds of torque. That's about 80 newton meters. But I will tell you that that power is in an incredibly useful range. It just seems to be in the right spot at the right time all the time. It has a very smooth 5-speed transmission. I've got one of these on my bike. And on my bike, the older model, it's a little rough in first gear, a little stiff in first gear, but after that it's just perfection. On these newer models, they've fixed that. Mine's the old engine, the 865, but it's just one of the most beautiful transmissions ever. And it's got a torque assist clutch. What does that mean? Got me. But it works excellent, very well. Front tire is a 190/18 on spokes. Isn't that beautiful? 32 spokes, just a beautiful thing, you know. The rear tire is a 157/17. 157/17, which is gorgeous. The front forks are 41 millimeters, and I couldn't find a travel on those. If I do find it, I'll post it below. It's just a, you know, very good looking front end. The brake, it's a Brembo single disc, 310 millimeter, dual piston. Just a gorgeous thing. Oh, it's a floating disc. See that? ABS brakes on the front and rear, by the way. But isn't that just a good looking brake? And the first time I drove a Triumph, it was a Triumph American. The second one I drove a Triumph, it was a Triumph T100. And both times the things that stood out to me was immediately were the brakes. Brakes, and then I'd see the handling, and then the fueling. The fueling would be the next thing. Rear brake on a bike like this is a Nissan 255 with also a dual piston. This one looks like a fixed disc with a floating caliper, most likely. And, you know, while we're here, I want to point out, see that cone-shaped hub? That's kind of a throwback to days gone by. That's a very nice touch on their part. I really like the way that looks. And if you go to the front, you kind of get the same thing. This kind of mimics the old drum brake of the past, the narrow width drum brakes. Very well done on their part. Wheelbase on a machine like this is 57.1 inches. That's 1,450 millimeters. That's long enough to not be twitchy. You know, my bike has a 58-inch, I think it's a 58-inch wheelbase, and 59 maybe. It just rolls down the interstate. I'd say it rolls down the interstate like a dream, just absolutely beautifully. And I would bet this does it just as well or better. Seat height on a machine like this, 31.1 inches. That's 790 millimeters. And of course, it's such a narrow bike through here that you sit on this and it just doesn't feel like it's. I don't know how it can feel that high. I've got a dirt bike at home with a 31.5-inch seat, and that feels 3 inches taller than this bike. And I think part of that is the flat seat that these bikes come with, and we'll talk about that here in a bit maybe. Fuel is 3.8 gallons, that's 14.5 liters. And the magic number, the number we all want to know about, what does this thing weigh? 503 pounds. 503 pounds. It's 228 kilograms. My bike weighs about the same, my T100, and the weight is so low and the power delivery is so well done that it just does not seem like it could possibly weigh that much. Colors this is available. It's available in jet black, this color right here, which is the Meridian Blue and Tangerine, and it's also available in Carnival Red with Fusion White. Something else to throw in real quick, 10,000 mile service intervals, so that's a pretty long stretch of time between services. For most people, it'll be once a year. And it has a 2-year unlimited mileage warranty, and I think that comes with roadside assistance. So very well done on their part as far as that goes. So something I'll point out about Triumphs. One is stunning good looks. To my eye, one of the most beautiful bikes out there. Especially if you like the classic look. If you want a modern classic, this is the way to go for sure. Just a beautiful thing. Next thing I would say about a Triumph, fit and finish is perfection. Every little detail is, there's nothing that seems like it's hanging out there loose. Everything is done just right. I mean, look at the quality of these foot pegs. The pipes, the connections, every little nut and bolt is just done right. These covers over the injection system, just the way everything is just phenomenal. And then the next thing I would say is the bikes handle and run excellently. They brake well, they just handle great. They're just very good at that. And then something that I touched on earlier, the fueling on Triumphs, and I've mentioned this in other videos. When I started riding Triumphs out here, I never really ridden a modern Triumph until a few years ago. One of the things that jumped out at me immediately was how nice the fueling was. That means the amount of this you give the gas, it just seems very controllable. When you turn the gas, it's very controllable, very smooth. It does what you want, what you think it's going to do. It just does what you'd expect, I guess. And it does it very well. If a normal bike has 100 points of fueling, 100 map points, I would bet Triumph has 200 or 300 or something more, because it just works a lot better. To my bias, that's my bias experience and statement on that fact. So I just love them. If you haven't ridden a modern Triumph, get yourself down here to Baxter's and check one out. We didn't look at the switch here or anything, so let's jump up here real quick. First off, isn't this just gorgeous? Just absolutely, that's a lockable gas cap, by the way. Just absolutely gorgeous. So we've got the clutch lever, which is adjustable for throw. We've got the high-lows right here. The information button, blinkers, and that's another thing about Triumphs, and I've mentioned this in all the videos, they have the best blinker switches on the market. That's something I always mention because for years I've fought with blinker switches. I've had hundreds of bikes, 100 bikes at least, and anyway, horn right there. Over here, the start, stop, kill switch, and then over here, the hazard light switch. These are electronic throttles. Very nice. Here's the brake, and it too is adjustable for throw. And there's the brake reservoir. Mirrors on a Triumph, or I have these mirrors on my bike, or something similar to this on my T100, and they're rock solid. They just perform excellently. Jumping over here to the dash, the instrument cluster, whatever you want to call it. Isn't that just beautiful? That's right off the, right off an old classic bike. I've done a lot of classic Triumph videos. Go back and check that out, and you'll see something very similar to this. Well, to the whole bike, but particularly to this. I mean, this is a very well done, nice chrome eyes. It's got the brushed aluminum plate on the back. The very well done. Let's light it up. Very well done surfaces. These are domed. The glass is not flat; it's domed. ABS light, overheat light, engine light, oil light, fuel light, neutral, the blinker. I'm turning that off. But then in here, we've got, if we go over here and use the information button, watch this right here. So right now it's showing the time. Traction control on and off. You can turn the traction control on and off. I'm amazed. Odometer, trip meter 1, trip meter 2, miles per gallon, and back to the clock. And over here, we have the fuel gauge. It has a digital fuel gauge, and it looks like it has a spot for range. And then if we go back here to I'm looking for a mode button, but I don't see it. Well, it says rain right now, or road right now, so I'm assuming there's a mode for rain. Let's see if we can get that to change somehow. I cannot. But it looks like there's a rain and road mode, possibly. I'll look that up. I'll see what I can find. But anyway, isn't that just a beautiful looking thing? I love all the detail. Just very well done. Very well done. Absolutely gorgeous motorcycle. if you are interested in a brand new or used Triumph or brand new or used Royal Enfield, get yourself down to Baxter Cycle. Go to baxtercycle.com and check them out. Give these guys a call. Ask for Jeremy or Mark or Randy. Tell them Fuzzy Biker sent you. Tell them you liked the video. Anyway, these guys can help you out. Life is good. Get out there and ride. Except for today, it's 15 below zero. Wahoo!